Hi everyone, I'm Katie, an infant toddler Montessori teacher and registered early childhood educator. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 4 activities to satisfy your child's urge to dump out their toys. If you're the parent of a toddler, you have probably observed your child dumping out their toys or anything really that is in a container. I'm here today to let you know that I completely understand that this behavior can be frustrating. But it is developmentally appropriate for toddlers to explore their world in this way. The good news is that it's just a phase, which means that it will eventually stop. The dumping phase, as I like to call it, typically occurs between 1 and 3 years of age. I saw it every year in the classroom. The children would dump out the animal figurines that we were using as language materials, or they would dump out all of the pom-poms that we were using in the transfer activities. Thanks to my background in child development, I knew that what I was watching was a child exploring the world. And with this, I was able to have a little bit more patience for it. Yes, the dumping phase does often result in more cleanup, but I reframed cleaning up into an opportunity to teach children how to clean up after themselves. You dumped out all the pom-poms? No problem. Once you're finished with the activity, we're going to work together to pick them all up and put them back the way that you found them. There is quite a bit of learning that comes with dumping out your toys. Children are experimenting with cause and effect, they're exploring spatial relations, and developing their senses. The thing to keep in mind is that toddlers are impulsive. This is a period of life where they are developing their impulse control. They don't have it yet. So if the child feels the need to dump out their toys, they're probably going to figure out a way to do so. I have found that the best strategy for navigating the dumping phase is to recognize that it is a phase and to provide the children with activities that's going to satisfy this need. All right, so let's get into the activities. Here are some of the activities that I had in the classroom when I noticed that the children needed an outlet to dump their toys. The first activity might seem a little counterintuitive, but it is to set up activities where the purpose is to dump. Add a couple of baskets to your child's playroom and then fill them with objects that are safe to dump or that you're okay with them dumping. So things like bean bags, balls, stuffed animals. As I mentioned earlier, the best way to satisfy your child's urge to dump is by allowing them to do so. You do not need to fill the baskets all the way up to the brim. Add just enough that it's going to be satisfying for the child to dump, but not overwhelm anybody with too big of a mess. After dumping, pick them all up, put them back into the basket, and dump them again. You could also do this outside with sand, dirt, wood chips. Bring a couple of buckets with you next time you go to the playground or to the beach for filling and dumping. The next activity we had different variations of on the shelf all year, and these activities were simple pouring activities. Turn dumping into a pouring activity by simply offering 2 jugs on a tray, and you can have either loose parts or water in one of the jugs, and the child will simply just pour them back and forth from jug to jug. Now, initially, they will likely still be dumping. That is something that I saw in the classroom all the time. But what I also saw was that through repetition, opportunities to repeat this activity, they did eventually start to pour the objects from one jug to another, trying very hard not to spill the contents out of the jug and onto the tray. By turning dumping into pouring, you're inviting the child to participate in a more refined, calming activity. But with safety in mind, when working with loose parts, please be mindful of any choking hazards. If you are concerned about your child putting small objects in their mouth, please do this activity with water instead. The next activity is sensory bins with different materials. Sensory bins are excellent for children who like to dump out their toys because they are so open-ended. Find a sensory bin filler that you're comfortable with. So you could use dried legumes, you could use rainbow rice, you could use pom-poms. One winter, I even made one with snow. And then you just simply add some tools that are going to enrich their exploration. Put in some containers so that they can scoop and dump, and then just sit back and watch them explore. At home, the bath is like a giant sensory bin that children can actually sit in. Bath time is a great time for them to satisfy their need to dump things out. So add some containers for them to scoop the water and dump, and then it also is a little bit less messy because it's already happening during bath time. I always found it helpful to anticipate the potential for mess. So I would do this by making sure that I always had cleaning tools nearby. So with sensory bins, there is a good chance that there is going to be a mess, like I said, because they are so open-ended. So things that you can do is you can actually put an old bed sheet or a tablecloth under the sensory bin to catch the loose parts so that they don't scatter all over the floor. In the classroom, I always had a broom and a dustpan nearby so that the children and I could sweep up anything that has fallen out of the bins. To be completely honest with you though, if messes aren't your thing, I would not recommend sensory bins. So skip this activity if you're not in the mood to clean up. This last activity was a personal favorite because it really helped me to relax and have fun with the toddlers as they explored dumping everything onto the floor. And this activity is turning it into a game. How you do this is that each of you has a container that you collect things in and then dump them. So you can do this outside with pine cones or rocks, or you could do this inside with soft or small toys. Decide where the dumping area will be and then have fun bringing your filled containers to the dumping zone. You can have as much fun as you want with it. In the classroom, we would walk, we would run, we would zigzag, we would dance, we would hop, we would do all sorts of things just to sort of make it as playful as possible. So if you're feeling frustrated by your child's constant dumping of their toys, give some of these activities a try. And I always found it helpful to remember that Dr. Montessori observed that children in the early years are sensorial explorers, meaning that they explore and learn most about the world through their senses. Dumping provides a lot of sensory feedback, like a container going from full to empty, the sound of objects falling to the floor, or the visual aspect of watching objects scatter in space. There is a lot to learn from dumping out your toys. So I hope that you found today's video helpful. If you're interested in bringing Montessori into your home, check out our Montessori at Home program. I'll link to it in the description below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye! Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, it really helps our channel if you like and subscribe. This helps other parents to find our channel. And if you have a question, feel free to comment your question below and we'll answer it in a future video. Take care. Bye!